Thanks for sticking it out. We're the last group to go. My name is Vanessa Rathbone, and I am part of the Seaweed Revolution group, along with my colleagues Gabe De La Rosa, Alicia Fennell, Dylan Glave, and Rachel Rhodes. So over the past 10 weeks, we've been working with our client, the Seaweed Working Group, and other seaweed-minded folks in the Santa Barbara and LA area to create a film about seaweed aquaculture and the positive impacts that can be generated from growing seaweed. The Seaweed Working Group is an interdisciplinary group of researchers at UCSB. So we worked closely with them, as well as Ocean Rainforest, which is a company that's testing potential large-scale seaweed farming off the coast of Santa Barbara. Our goal was to make a film about seaweed aquaculture to help change the narrative around aquaculture in general, which often has negative connotations. The film showcases the environmental benefits and the exciting potential of seaweed aquaculture. It's intended for a general audience and highlights the supportive, motivated, and exciting community that's working to incorporate seaweed into scalable markets like the food industry, biofuels, and animal feed. We're looking into the possibility of screening this film somewhere locally, but we are still working out the details, so we'll be sure to include you guys and invite the Bren community when that happens. And with that, we just want to say thank you so much for being here, and we hope you enjoy our film.
Hey team, great job. Did you have any concluding words? Or we should go to question and answer.
Just that it's been a fun process learning. It was a lot to pack in on 10 weeks. So thanks for everyone who helped with our film in one way or another.
And we do love seaweed.
That's great. So as we wait for a couple questions to roll in, I'll just ask, so how do you hope that this film will be used? What's the next step for the film?
Yeah, so as Vanessa mentioned, we're working on putting together sort of a public release somewhere in town. We're ironing out the details, more information to come. Everybody is welcome. But then it'll also live on the internet and be available for people to point to it on social media and through various websites. So it will be, distributed around. And yeah, we really want it just to be a place that the Seaweed Working Group can or in a place where the Seaweed Working Group can reference it and give it to all their big seaweed community.
Great. We have some questions. So our first is about the seaweed featured. You talk about kelp primarily, but is this going to be beneficial for other types of seaweed aquaculture as well?
Yeah, I can also take a stab at this. In Southern California, giant kelp is the main species cultivated, at least commercially offshore, because it's native. Giant kelp holds a lot of promise for things like biofuels or cosmetic additives and sort of products. On the food side of things and elsewhere in the world, there are a whole wide range of seaweeds that are used. And the way that people are thinking about seaweed farming sort of on a larger scale right now is that you ideally want to grow a species that's native to that region. So on the California coast, that might be kelp. Whereas, in the Gulf of Mexico, it might be something like Gracilaria. On the East Coast, it might be sugar kelp. And so it's really region specific. As we're located in Santa Barbara and we had access to a lot of people that are around us here, the film really, focuses more on people who are working with giant kelp. But if you go a little broader than that, you'll find all sorts of different species.
Great, really helpful. Okay, so our next question is, what did you find were the greatest challenges in producing a film like this?
Go for it, Vanessa.
I don't know we had I would say we had a lot of fun, but it was definitely a challenging process. I think the biggest challenges were probably in editing and post-production. I think we enjoyed the whole pre-production and production process was amazing to meet these different clients and go out on the boats and just expose ourselves to the seaweed revolution that's happening in the area. And then I think, getting to that editing stage is really, really challenging. And we interviewed 7 people. So we had a lot of transcribed interviews to go through. And I think creating a narrative and a story is definitely always going to be the most challenging part. But I think overall, for 10 weeks, we really all had to hustle. So it was a great process, learning process.
And if I could add one thing, right, we are in a global pandemic. And so that was an added challenge on top of things with coordinating and scheduling and staying COVID safe. That was the priority. So it took a little figuring out how to do that, and it made things go a little slower as we sort of dealt with that on the side. So even in a normal time crunch, right, we had a little bit of extra pressure on top of that, but it came together.
Yeah, that's great. So we have another question just about seaweed itself. So what did you discover about seaweed during this whole project that was most surprising to you?
I guess not surprising, but the first and biggest thing I learned is how excited people are about seaweed. Everyone we interviewed, even though they see the challenge and stuff, they're just so psyched on seaweed, whether it's researchers, farmers, or the chef that we met with. Everyone like sees it, for its capabilities, but just as an item that they really want to bring more into their lives and into other people's lives. What else?
I don't know, just the versatility of uses too. I think for those of us in Santa Barbara, you see it on the beach all the time and maybe don't think twice about it. So it was really cool to kind of dig in and learn more about all its exciting potential. And now when I see it on the beach, I totally think about it in a different way. So on a personal note, I'm more excited about seaweed. So we'll see if anyone else does from this film as well.
And we also learned that it can taste really, really delicious.
Good. That's an important aside as well. Awesome. All right. Well, we're at time and we're over time. So I just want to say, again, fabulous job with this project. It came together so nicely, really fascinating, and good work on that, like very shortened timeline with editing and the like. So thank you again.